And I got the light problem again.
Mm-hmm.
And we are live. And it looks like we got 7 people here. And I'm just going to see if I can adjust that light.
Hello.
Well, that's a little better, but I just have this natural glow all the time. So, hi Donna.
Happy Easter.
Yeah, happy Easter for those of you that the Easter's a thing. Move your kneecaps. Okay. Crowded me out of the picture here. So we'll just give everybody a few seconds here to come on and we'll see what's going on. Don, can you hear us okay? Angel's here. Hi, Angel. Hi, Wendy. And Wendy, as you know, I've got your pictures of your quilts and things, and I'm putting them up on the Idiot Quilter this Tuesday. Donna says yes. Good. Glad you can hear us okay. Always playing around with microphones. But maybe we have found the ideal setup now, at least ideal as into what equipment
using R2D2?
Yeah, I'm using R2D2. R2D2 is our big microphone. This is what R2D2 looks like. Actually, it looks like something else too, but we won't get into that. So, how many people we got here? 6. Might be a little light today. It's with it being Easter, maybe people are celebrating. Busy. Hopefully you're celebrating with only those people that live in your household, especially those of you that live in Ontario.
Depends on where you live, I suppose. If you live in Australia, you can do anything you want.
Well, yeah, true. That's right. And heaven forbid if you step out of line there, because they will lock you down, which is a good thing. Hi, Cindy.
Yeah, we're in this Ontario announced a break, or BRAKE, supposedly another lockdown, but it's sort of a fake lockdown.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Anyway.
But anyways, so I was just waiting to see if a few more people are going to join us here before we get started. So it's always more people on the thing that says we got 15 people out there, but we only have like 4 in the chat. A lot of shy people out there, I think. Just like to listen to us, I suppose. Well, whatever grabs you. Angel says, I have to work tonight. No Easter celebration here other than still being employed. Yeah, well, we're not doing much for Easter either, but we'll talk about that. Hi, Laura. Happy Easter Laura. To you too, Laura. So let's get started, shall we? So
you must be on holidays this week too, right, Laura?
Well, March break hasn't started yet.
I thought it was not March break.
I thought it was next week, the week after. I don't know. Laura, when's March break?
For some reason, I thought it already started.
Hi, Billy. I don't know. I've lost all track because they seem to change their mind, the government, all the time about that. Next week. That's what I thought. Anyway, so let's just get started with my mother. Well, I did get to talk to her this week. Last week she was sleeping at 11 o'clock in the morning. Whatever, which is kind of ironic because my mother was never one of those kind of people that would sleep late in the day. Not when we were growing up as kids.
Well, even as long as I've known you, she was always up early.
Yeah, she was always up early. Expect everybody else to be, but I guess, I don't know. So I did talk to her though this week. She was up for that, and well, there wasn't anything much new there to talk about. Hi, Andy. But she's fine. Now, I'm sure when I talk to her this coming Tuesday, I'll say, what's new? I always say, what's new? What have you been doing? What's going on? Well, nothing here. It's the same old is what she says. But I saw on their Facebook page that they had a whole pile of activities over this past week for them there for Easter. And I guess a local group or something brought over flowers for every resident in the home. And they also all got chocolate. That would make my mother happy as well. These community organizations out in where she is living, where her nursing home is located, are just wonderful during COVID, the things that they have been doing for the residents there. So they have lots going on, but my mother doesn't always participate. I don't know if she ever participates. It's hard to tell. She tells me one story, and then I find out different from other people. But anyways, other things about it, I did get up a call from the nursing home. I guess they were going to help my mother fill out the paperwork for moving her to the new residence. And we took a little drive around yesterday to the new residence, and yep, they told us probably the end of April, and it looks like that's probably when it's going to be, when they'll make the big move, because it looks pretty done now. I mean, they got a lot more done in the last couple of weeks since the last time we drove around it. It looks really nice.
From the outside.
Well, from the outside, yeah. But I'm sure it's very nice inside. I mean, it's got that new nursing home smell. Yeah, minus the pee. Whatever. But
yeah, peeless. It'll start off being peeless, right?
Well, the one thing about where she lives right now, it never smells. It never smells. And that we were told years ago when we were looking around for your mother, and that we were told.
No, I went in the place when I was looking for my mother, but at that time it was owned by a different company, and they didn't have a very good reputation, and it was very depressing walking in there. Now the structure hasn't really changed, but the management has, and the current management is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
So
but we were we're looking around, I was told, and I saw this written, that one of the first things you should notice when you go in to visit a long-term care facility is the odor. And if you smell urine or worse, that is not a good sign.
Well, my mom was in a nursing home for many years, and there were times where you could smell it, but it was only a short period of time because somebody had an accident.
Well, somebody just had an accident. But I mean, you know, because I know walking into certain nursing homes, that's all you smelled all the time.
Yeah, I know. There's one that used to be here, actually an old one here that they've rebuilt. And when you walked into there, the odor was extremely strong.
So anyways, that has never been a problem where my mother is right now. And I think she'll be very happy in the new place. Well, as happy as my mother can be. But anyways, she's fine. Her health is good. Yay for all of that. So nothing new and exciting there. So what are you working on? Speaking of new and exciting.
Okay, I'm still working on my coat. But we only do 2-hour classes on Monday, so only get so much done. But last week when I was taking the course, I had a major problem with my coat. It's set up so that the top half is done separately from the bottom half. And when I tried to put our last step last week was to put the top half and the bottom half together, and I found I was out by 2 inches between the top and the bottom, which is
not good. Hi, Pam.
And I was just kind of freaking out by it. I ended up having the instructor was making the same size coat I was, so I got him to send me his measurements between the top and the bottom. So I suspected the top part was okay, but the bottom part was not the right size, and I couldn't figure out why there was a big difference. And then finally, after some looking, I found that the pattern that I printed out was on PDF. And what happens with PDF, it all prints out on 8.5 by 11 sheets of paper. And you have to stick them all together. And with this one section of the pattern, I accidentally overlapped the pattern too much. So, and it only affected the one piece, the center piece on the bottom. And what ended up happening was that center piece was way too short by 2 inches. So I had enough fabric to recut it. So I recut it, and I've just recently sewn it together. I did have a problem sewing the bottom and the top together, but I'll fix that later.
Of course, he's saying this very calmly right now. At the time that he discovered this, he wasn't really speaking in such calm terms then.
I was in a very
he was pissed off, foul mood. Very foul mood with it. But anyways, figured it out. So
yeah. And I was finishing a shirt that I was working on. I still have to the only thing I have to do is put the buttons on. But everything else is done. It's got buttonholes.
So are you showing them?
Yeah, I'll show you
got
my
them
shirt.
hung up over there. Jeez, I thought you were going to show them. So
So I'll show you the shirt first. This is the short sleeve shirt that I did. But
Camera's on automatic focus.
It's like I said, it just needs buttons, but I've got buttonholes. So
yes, Andy, he was speaking in strange tongues. Well, they weren't that strange, but at least I've heard it before.
And this is sort of the coat, top and bottom. That's the back side. That's the front side. This is actually the back. So it's, the pockets are on that side. And where's the other side?
Hi, Cindy.
I can't find the other side.
Well, I don't know where it is. You got to have it there somewhere.
Oh, there it is. That's the other side. No pockets. So it's coming along.
Yep.
I have a little bit that's kind of crimped in the section. The part that I need to fix. It's kind of wrinkly here. I need to stretch it out a bit more, so I have to either iron out or I'll. I think I'm going to resew it. So.
Yeah, well. Anyways, it's coming along nicely. Yeah, Cindy, I think it's going to be nice as well. And Angel likes the blue color and everything. So what else have you been working on?
That's it.
That's it. That's all you've been doing.
Yeah, I don't have that more.
Twiddling your thumbs.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, geez, really. Well, oh, hi, Teresa. So I've been doing.
I've been doing research on the 6700.
Oh yeah. Well, we're coming to that. Jeez, follow the script.
No,
I have a script.
I don't read your script.
Well, you should read it. Jeez. Anyways, I've been doing more 3D printing, and you saw probably in the little thumbnail for today's video that my Godzilla that I did. I'll just grab them. And my baby. So here's my Godzilla. And you might ask, oh, broke off a piece of it. Gotta be careful with the points. They're kind of fragile. Anyways, Godzilla the broken point. No, not really too bad. But he turned out pretty good. Now, am I a big Godzilla fan? No, not really. But I saw it and I thought, well, I'm always trying to see what the limits are to my printer. So I thought I'd try this guy. He took 2.5 days. So he took as long as I guess Shakespeare did too. He took over 60 hours to print. That's day and night. But
you'll need KK now. Who's KK?
King Kong. Oh, King Kong. I looked it up, and there is actually funny. There weren't that many King Kongs in the place that I was looking, anyways. But I might do one of those. But anyways, I did this, and of course, everybody wants one. And I wasn't going to do one, but then I decided to. So I did a baby Yoda right there. Actually, I've got a smaller one because I did them smaller because it took less time to do to see if it was going to work, because these ears that are here, it claimed I didn't need any supports. Supports are little pieces of plastic that print up alongside and supports things like this, and then you tear them off after it's done. But he printed without any supports, which is nice, because if you got to tear the supports off, it's a pain in the butt. I'm printing something right now that's actually, it's a museum reproduction. There's a site you can go to, and they have 3D scanned in some of their more famous pieces of statuary or artwork, and created a 3D printer file for them. And this is the one, you've all seen this before. It's the Egyptian cat, you know, the one that sits with little hieroglyphics on its chest and things. I'm sure if you saw it, you know, I can't show it to you right now because it's being printed on the printer. But I decided to print that out just to see what that would be like. And there's a guy he created, and it's hilarious. I saw it on Facebook. I belong to a group for 3D printers, and he posted this one that he had created, and it's that ship that got stuck in the Suez Canal. And it's hilarious because he's got this big ship. He's got it sitting on what looks like water, and there's all these little boats around it. And the little boats around it are things that they call benchies. Benchies are a little boat that you print with your 3D printer when you first get it to check your settings to see if it's printing okay or you need to adjust anything.
I guess it sort of makes it go through all the different things that
Yeah.
To test it out.
To test it, the various things on your printer to make sure the settings are right. Well, he used those. Hi, Nancy. And he put them around the, what do they call it? The Evergreen or the Evergiven or Evergiven or whatever. And it really is hilarious. So I had asked him if he was going to put it up somewhere so other people could print it. I never got an answer back, but I found it this morning on Thingiverse, which is where I get a lot of my models and things from. And yep, there it was. So I now have a copy of it. So after my Pussycat is finished printing, I'm going to print this other one as well because it's a bit of a joke. And he's done it in several different, I don't know what you call it, configurations. And the one that I'm printing out also works as an SD card holder too. In the big boat, there's little slots in the top of putting your SD holders. Hi, Yvonne.
Corona, Ontario.
Ontario. Where's that?
You know, you'd think I'd know. I used to work for the province of Ontario, and I think I knew every city, and I thought I knew every city in Ontario, but I don't know Corona.
But the other thing that I did, which I'm going to be showing on my vlog tomorrow, is I built these 3D shelves to hold all these 3D things, and I have them near my printer, so they run up the wall on the side, so they're all there on display. But I'm going to be actually showing that tomorrow on the vlog as well. So yeah, I don't think there's a day goes by that my printer's not running and I'm printing something out. So geez, I hope I don't burn it out. I have to buy another one. What's better than one 3D printer? Two.
Ooh,
A room full of.
You're way up north.
So where, way up north where?
South of Sarnia.
Oh, geez, you're up there a piece. So, okay. So anyways, I've been doing that, and I've done the top of another quilt, and I already showed this quilt on last week's vlog. It's one I call Fusion because I took a pattern and then I altered it and I added some things to it. So I kind of fused an actual pattern with my own ideas, and it needs to be quilted, but I haven't done that yet. Billy says, you're going to get like my son. He has two ones larger than the other. Yeah, one's larger. Yeah. 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 Don't think I haven't thought about it.
What?
Getting another 3D printer.
Yeah, I know where you're going to put it.
I don't know where I'm going to put it. That's the problem. I mean, geez. Well, actually, I don't where I could put it. I could take down that wide format printer I never used. And
once you got going at this, you're doing pretty good with it.
Yeah, I'm not knock wood. I haven't had any major problems with it. When I first got it, leveling it out and making this so your prints stuck to the bed, and that was a pain in the butt, but I've got that down to a science now. But don't speak too loud. I'm watching a lot of people have problems with that all the time, and I'm thinking,
yeah, a lot of people buy one and think they can just sort of like put it together and it works.
No, they're not plug and play.
They're fiddly.
Yeah, you got to play with it. So it's not for everybody, really. But I'm having fun with it, so that's all that matters to me. And I'm working on I decided that our dining room table upstairs needed something a little bit more springy in terms of a table runner. So I'm working on one of those today. They don't take too long to do, but I think this one I might try to quilt using the 550 embroidery machine because it's small enough for that. And
you will, eh?
And I thought I'd try that magnetic. And when he says that, it's because it's actually his machine. Mine hasn't come in yet. I've been using his constantly. Oh, and I did some. I'm showing those tomorrow too. I did some embroidered bowls, kind of a thing, which actually are quite nice. They turned out kind of nice. But all that stuff I'm going to show tomorrow. Got to keep you coming back for more. So what's that take us to? Okay, so speaking of coming back for more, we just did our second episode of So Chatty. We did that on Friday, and it went up on Friday afternoon. Actually, it's more Walter's show than mine because he was featured. this episode, we featured the Janome 6700P, which is the sewing machine that Walter uses. And we talked all about the various features of it. We showed how to clean it as well. And we found a really interesting video, which I'm putting a link into the next So Very Chat or So Chatty, that shows what happens if you don't clean out your machine. It's quite a good little YouTube video too, because you wouldn't believe this dirt this woman had in her machine, and she wondered why it wasn't running properly. Oh
yeah, like
my
one
God!
of the ladies in my class, she has a brother machine, and all of a sudden it started stitching really weird, and she was mucking around with the tension and all this other stuff, and then I all of a sudden said to her, "So when's the last time you cleaned it?" And she said, "Clean it? I've never cleaned it." So, and I guess she took it apart, and it was like full of dust and everything.
Well, this one on the YouTube
and sure
video
enough, after she cleaned it, it worked okay again.
Yeah, it's really, we were really emphasizing the cleaning of your machine a lot on that last episode of So Chatty, because that's where a lot of your problems come from. You got to keep them clean, and people just don't. So, you got to do it. Anyways, on the next So Chatty, this coming Friday or Thursday, we haven't really set down a day yet. It really depends on Walter's mood, whether we do it. See, I'd prefer to do it, in the morning, but he doesn't see morning light because
I do sometimes.
Oh, it's rare, very rare. I mean, I had to point out to you one time, that big yellow thing in the sky is called the sun. Yeah, it gives us heat and light, vampire at night. So we're going to feature the Continental M7 on the next one, which is my main machine as well. Teresa says, there are so many names for the lint balls. My favorite is Woolly Boogers. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. But anyway, so yeah, we're kind of enjoying doing the So Chatty so far, and we've been getting a few questions, and we're compiling the questions.
Yeah, like somebody asked a question about their 6600. They had a feature, and 6600 was sort of the previous model to the 6700, and she could do a certain feature. It had a certain feature on it. She wondered if it was on the 6700 as well, that I didn't really discuss in the video because it's one feature that I haven't really used a lot. Yeah. And that's basically, you can string together all of the, any one of the stitches. You can put different stitches next to each other and then save them all as one new stitch. And
so basically you're creating your own unique decorative stitch.
Yeah. So you can do that with that machine as well. Well, I guess the only difference between the 6600 and 6700 is that you can string more stitches together on the 6700 than you can on the 6600.
Hi, Janice.
And I figured that all out by downloading both manuals and comparing them. So,
yeah. So anyways, we're trying to handle, if people have questions, we're trying to answer them as best we can. But as you've heard us say before, we don't know everything about them. We just know what we've experienced from it. And we're always learning, constantly learning. But anyways, I think we've had a favorable reception to the first two episodes of that. So we're kind of hoping that that will continue. Teresa says, my main machine is the Janome Horizon 7700. Good machine, one of the predecessors of the 15,000. Yeah. Yeah, they're all part of that Horizon Memory Craft or whatever they call it series that they have. So anyways, let's see what else I had. Oh, today I had an art journal group meeting, have that once a month with my group. A couple of people couldn't make it because Easter plans, I guess. One had a porch visit with her family, and the other one was very secretive as to where she was going. But that's fine. And it is posted. I just put it up about an hour ago or so onto YouTube if you're interested. The one thing about it is it's a Zoom meeting, but I record it. But there's always a lot of interesting information for those of you that are crafters out there. New products. There is one lady in my group who is the goddess of anything new. She buys everything, and she gives you a very honest report as to whether she likes it or not and why. And she just showed us two things. One was Vicky Boutin, and those of you the crafters probably know who Vicky Boutin is. She's actually Canadian, but she has a whole line of mixed media products. But she has a line of paper, 12 by 12 sheets, that I have seen it before, but I didn't know much about it. But now I kind of want to buy a pad of it. It's kind of a watercolor paper, but she said it really holds up to moisture well. It doesn't pill up, and it doesn't seem to warp. And she was spraying the heck out of it, layer after layer of different sprays and water and stuff like that. So she was really impressed with it. And there was also a glue by Deluxe. The glue is called Deluxe Nouveau glue. Nouveau is I don't know if that's the name of the company. They have a whole line of different products. I've never really used many of their products, but I know Carol at my local scrapbook store. Shouldn't call it a scrapbook store anymore. It's really a craft store, I guess, because she doesn't just sell scrapbooking stuff. She sells mixed media and everything like that. But she carries it, and this glue and other products that they have, and she said this glue is really, really good. It grabs real quick and it dries clear. And so that's a couple of things I kind of want to look into. I got to get down to Carol's store. Of course, right now we're in lockdown again, so got to make appointments and all that kind of stuff. Billy says, I'm using my sister's 11,000 SE now while 15,000 has to go to the shop. Oh, what's wrong with it, Billy? Are you having the same problems I was having with my 15,000? Bobbin case pulling up and out? Is that sheer hell? In fact, I think, Billy, you may have told me, and I'm sorry, I forgot. Senior moments. But anyways, yeah, so the Art Journal group has lots of interesting stuff. There's one card one of the ladies is making. I forget what she calls it, something sliced card, but it's using her Cricut, and it's a geometric shape. It's layers. It cuts all these layers of strips out, and you put it together. She said it was kind of difficult to put together, very confusing, but it all folds out, and it's very intricate, and it's almost like a tunnel card. Yeah, I know her store's still open, only 4 people at a time. Well, so she's allowing that many in because...
Geez, that sounds like a lot.
That sounds like... Of course, mind you, she's got those 4 areas, right? Yeah. So she's got it all marked out. It's actually very efficient way of doing things. Her store's not very big. Okay, Angel, we'll see you next week.
Yeah.
But anyways, what was I talking about? Yeah, there are lots of great ideas. These cards are really beautiful. And just there's all kinds of ideas that these people came up with. And one of the girls was showing us, she made a second Rolodex book. I'm going to give you a sneak peek at my Rolodex book. Actually, maybe I'll show it to you now, because I'm going to do a whole video on how to do them. But this is a Rolodex book. And if you go on YouTube, you'll find lots of people's Rolodexes. But this is mine. And what it's made from is a book, an old book, hardcover book. You fold the pages, and it looks like Rolodex. Now, to keep it open, I actually printed these edges with my 3D printer and glued them on. And they keep the book open and slightly angled back as well. And on the front, this one is a collection of all kinds of notes and things you can write in. And I used my Dynamo label maker. You remember those things to give it a vintage look on some of these. And I use some of Tim Holtz's paper dolls in here and some of his
creepy people.
Found people. Yes, creepy dolls thing. I 3D printed the chess pieces down here at the bottom. And if you notice, there's some corner pieces. I'm trying to get my fingers in its opposite way.
You're not doing a good job, Vanna.
Well, sorry. Do I look blonde and skinny? These were printed on my 3D printer too, and there's some up here in the back, but you can't see them.
The chess pieces were printed.
That's what I said. Where were you?
I don't know. I wasn't listening.
Yeah. Typical. Jeez. But I also put in here, like, I had some library cards, so I made pockets for them. and stuck them in these, and they come out, and you could write on them, I suppose. I mean, I say you could write
Library
on
cards. What's that?
Yeah, that's why it's part of vintage. And I created some little mini albums. Like this is a little mini album. I stitched it together. It's just got blank pages in it. But there's about 4 of these. They all look a little different, tucked in here. And there's room to tuck other things in if you want to. They're just fun to make. And there's something a little bit unusual as well. Different things popping up, like the creepy people and the whole bit. So that's what they call a Rolodex book. And I'm going to do a whole series on how to make this from beginning to end. That'll come up in a few weeks on my blog.
Yeah, Yvonne, I looked you up. You're just south of Sarnia. So I guess 10 miles from Sarnia.
Well, Laura said she was at the store last week, was there for an hour, and she was the only customer. Oh, Billy says, no, it keeps giving error messages. It's 7 years old and time for yearly cleaning. Oh, okay. Well, good. That sounds like something that is easily rectified. If it was what I was talking about, not so easy. So anyways, that's what I've been up to and what we're doing with the Art Journal group. And so before I forget, and I've got the link in the show notes below today, it's that time of the month again. The first Wednesday of the month is coming up this week, and that's time for craft and chat. Look like I'm rolling out of the picture. Just push you. Just
I don't have wheels, so I can't roll.
Yeah, well, excuses. So yeah, craft and chat. And I think most people know what craft and chat is. It is during the day. So those of you that work, I know can't join us, but sorry about that. But, you know, we retired people, we have more time in our hands, I guess. And so this Wednesday, April the 7th, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, our timeline, and it runs until about 4 o'clock. And it's just an opportunity for people to get together and work on whatever they're working on. It's a social environment, very informal. I do not record it or anything like that. And we just chat while we're working on whatever. We might, share what we're working on. It could be textiles, sewing, quilting, crochet, knitting, paper crafts, journal making, art journaling, mixed media, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't have to be geared towards just quilting or anything like that. And the last time we had a few more. We don't have a lot of people on it, just a handful, really. But we've added a few each time, and that's fine. It's a drop-in. So if you're interested, the link is in the show notes below, and the link will also appear in the vlog this week and in whatever else I do this week, the Idiot Quilter, which will be Tuesday. That I'll do that. So, yep.
Yeah, Andy says craft and chats are lots of fun.
Yeah, Andy's a regular. So we do have a good time with that. I don't see Jeannie on here today. Is Jeannie not around? Jeannie is Andy's sister. They're a couple of our regulars. It just doesn't seem like alive or without Andy and Jeannie. Okay, so other news. We have registered in several places to get the vaccine when it's available at one of our pharmacies. Now, our government, our Ontario government, is they just botched this whole thing. So supposedly now they're getting the vaccine to the pharmacies, and they're putting the AstraZeneca is the one that they're putting out in the pharmacies, and you register online at a pharmacy, and they're supposed to, when it becomes available, they will send you the information, and you have 24 hours to respond to it and get your shot. Now, they are doing people 55 years and up in that situation, so we now qualify for it. But the question is, when are they getting it? And well, how well the system is going to work.
Yeah, it looks like you have to sort of register with each different pharmacy.
So we're registered for about 4, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, there's no central booking thing, so it's like it's really annoying.
So we've registered at 4 different pharmacy locations, and one of them said something very curious to Walter.
I phoned one yesterday because their online booking wasn't working, and the guy says to me, "Oh, are you a regular customer at our pharmacy?" And actually, we're not. And I said, "No, we're not." And then he goes, "Oh, well, then you'll have to go on to the Ontario government registry and look up a pharmacy and register with one of those pharmacies." I should have asked a little bit more at the time, but it kind of took me back by surprise. And so it almost sounded like they were only going to inject their own customers.
Which is not part of the government plan. And I said to Walter, we should phone them again and see if you get that same sort of answer or whatever. Say to them, well, what? Do I have to be a regular customer of your pharmacy? Meaning I would imagine that, you're registered with them when you get your, prescription drugs. And and if they say yes to that, then I say, well, fine, we're going to report you to the Ontario government because that's discrimination.
Well, yeah, Teresa sort of said some pharmacies had no idea they were on the list. Well, it's possible that pharmacy that I called didn't realize they were on the list. So.
But why did he ask you if you were a regular customer?
I don't know.
That's the part I have a problem with. So I don't know. Yeah, great planning, right, Teresa, in Ontario. It's just been botched since day one. So hopefully we'll get a vaccine sometime soon, but I'm not holding my breath on this because supposedly come tomorrow or whatever, Ontario's supposed to be getting all these vaccines and everything in, and they're going to get them all distributed out and everything like that. Yeah, they've told us this so many times, and then something happens. There's been a distribution problem, or the pharmacy has changed their deadline or whatever, something like that. Andy says, I got my shot through my local grocery store that has a pharmacy service. Well, one of the places we're registered for is a pharmacy at our Costco, too. So, yeah, Costco. The lineups were incredible.
Yeah, supposedly we're on a lockdown, so we took a drive around yesterday. We didn't go anywhere, but actually we went by the nursing home.
We went by the nursing home to check it out.
See what it was looked like. And we drove by a shopping mall. We're supposed to be in lockdown. We drove by a shopping mall, our main shopping mall in our city, and the parking lot was packed. And the Costco parking lot was packed, and they were lined up.
And they were lined up.
And so I'm going, well, what's this big lockdown that we're having?
Yeah. Well, the lockdown didn't officially start until 12:01 Friday night or 12:01 Saturday morning a.m., supposedly. But it's a joke because it isn't any different than what we're just coming out of. The businesses are still open. They do it by appointment, curbside pickup.
Emergency.
What, you have emergency?
No, I have to go to the bathroom. I'm sorry.
Well, everybody knows, man. He's having an emergency. I hate it when he gets that look on his face. Well, you don't need to know the details. Yeah, exactly, Laura. It just means limits, but it's really not a lockdown per se with this. And, like this government that we've got in Ontario has done such a piss poor job of keeping us safe. And people are ignoring them because one of the reasons people are ignoring them is because we've been through this before and it's never anything different. And so people, I think, have just sort of said, the hell with it. We'll do what we want to do. And that's what's going to be scary. Our numbers are already up before the weekend's even out. It's a long weekend. And there are people already getting together, having Easter with their families. These are not people that live in the same house with them. And you've heard me say what I feel about that kind of situation before and the rationalization people make. And they're just stupid. And if anybody is doing that, I don't care who you are, you're stupid for doing it. Especially if you live here in Ontario right now. I don't know what the situation is like in the United States anymore. Canada was about 80 down the list for the numbers of people that they've been able to vaccinate. I think the states are much higher up on the list with it all. So Teresa says he'll be down in a minute. Ella, Edith Bunker for those little. Yeah, true. And Laura says no, it's not. They are taking all the money back out of education too. Okay, I'm not sure what the no, it's not. Laura, I lost the thread. You said it just means limits, really. Yeah, and no, it's not. They are taking all the money back out of education too. I'm confused, Laura, what your comment means. Can you state it for me a little bit clearer? Sorry, I'm being obtuse. I haven't been inside a restaurant or store in one plus years. Yeah, well, we haven't been in a restaurant. Well, we can't go inside a restaurant. We haven't been able to do that in quite a while.
Well, we were able to last week.
Well, something like 10 or something.
No, 50% capacity.
Oh.
But they've changed that to nothing now. So.
Well, right now, I wouldn't be taking the chance.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
So here in London, there is a huge outbreak at several university dorms. So they send all the students home. Not sure how I feel about that, sending all the bugs home to their families.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Hi, Anne. I don't know. Teresa, when Teresa says London, she means London, Ontario. She doesn't mean London, England. Yeah, I don't know. They've just botched it left and right. What really pissed me off is Christine Elliott, too. That smug bitch. She is. She's a smug bitch. She was in a pharmacy getting her shot, showing everybody that's safe. You know, if she keeled over on the table, passed out, I think that would have looked good on her. She is a work of, I don't know, a work of what? I was going to say a work of art. No, she's not a work of art. Yeah,
well, Laura, that sounds sort of like how the government operates. They will put money into it and say, wow, we put all this money into education, and then turn around and take it back out again. But they don't tell you that they take it back out again.
You know, and of course, they won't shut down the schools. Now they're about to move into March break, which is in April this year, and the whole bit. And they were debating whether to have that or not. Now, I know the teachers need the break. There's no two ways about it. And the kids could use the break as well. But then they were talking about not doing it all. And I was thinking, so you're going to keep the kids in the schools. What good is that going to do? As far as I'm concerned, the schools should be completely shut down. Everything should be put online. And take the money that they're taking out of education right now and set it up in such a way that families who are in lower income bracket, who can't afford an internet connection or computer stuff, and do something, create some sort of program where they can get access to that for their kids. Because you know what's going to happen. These little germ bags, and you've heard me say it before, little disease carriers, they're just going to spread it more. What we were up to the other day in numbers, over 3,000.
Yeah, last couple of days in Ontario, it's been over 3,000, which is a lot for during the pandemic. We're up at 3,000.
And of course, most of the cases are coming out of the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area. Well, that's to be expected because it's the highest concentration of the population. But people just still aren't getting it anymore. And I don't think they're ever going to get it. And so I guess they just...
get it as in get with the program.
Yeah, get with the program, yeah, with it all. Because they don't. They're just bull-faced denying it all. Teresa said education had a perfect chance to circuit break with spring break coming 1 week after Easter. The kids are home for 4-day weekend. Go back for 4 days, then get the week off. Why go back? Exactly. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. The only thing I can think of is that there are parents that they're trying to appease parents because the parents have to go back to work and they don't have, they're using the school system as childcare. So they're appeasing the parents. Well, and now they're saying that some of these variants are hitting younger people. I don't know if they're hitting kids is bad, but they're hitting people in, under 50.
Yeah, like I've been reading a few things on some doctors' Twitter feeds, and they're saying that they're having they had somebody as young as 20 in the ICU in, I think, I'm not sure, one of the cities in Ontario. And they're seeing a lot of like 20, 30, and 40-year-olds coming in. And a lot of these people are frontline workers that are like grocery store clerks and stuff like that. So,
well, the grocery stores, the last couple of times we've been in a grocery store, there's been very little, if not any, control over.
yeah, they're supposed to have a certain amount of people in the grocery store. And the last time we were in one, it was pretty busy in there. I think they were probably well over the limit. So
yeah, they're just not bothering.
They're not bothering. They don't seem to care.
Teresa says 147 of 244 cases here are age 18 to 22. Is that because of the university, what you were saying earlier? I would assume it is. Yeah. And yeah, 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds, 20 university students are university students. They party. They don't distance because they're young people and they're, invulnerable. They think in the whole bit. I've typed medical reports on a couple of young people who now will need heart transplant. Oh, you're kidding. That is, you could have shut the door.
I did.
Oh my God. We've had a death here. It's in our bathroom. I don't know what crawled up here, but oh my God.
Sometimes I have a problem.
Yeah, well, thanks for sharing it. Oh, yeah. Other bad things too, Teresa says. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how you control university students.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I think back when I was in university and all you did was like party till you puke. I guess now literally party till you die. He did say he had an emergency. Yeah, well, I'm glad we don't have wallpaper in that room because we'd have to redo it. There's just no way. Actually, maybe I could hire him out. You got wallpaper you want stripped quick? Oh, jeez. What do you call that? A Dutch treat? I certainly don't.
Sorry.
Oh, my God. Sorry. And that's what he does. He giggles about it. Don't go grocery shopping with him.
Must have been your breakfast.
Yeah, right. It's always my fault. Yeah, right. Give me a break. Anyway, so, yeah, I don't know what's going to be. I have a feeling when this weekend is over, come about Tuesday or Wednesday, well, the numbers will keep going up, and in about 2 weeks' time, it'll be like sky high again. And the government will go, well, we don't know why we're doing everything that's possible. No, you're not. And you've done everything too late. Anne says we've had the younger people crowded the large park in Nottingham, UK, the minute we were let loose. And Teresa says, my husband can do that for me. Oh, God. Where's the air freshener when you need it? Jeez. That is just bad. Thank God YouTube hasn't put in place smell-o-vision, because talk about losing your audience. Curl your hair. Well, what do we... Anyway, so we're in big lockdown situation. And, the other thing, too, is this, I call it vaccine madness. Everybody seems to have this idea that, oh, yeah, as soon as I get the vaccine, I'm going to be able to travel again. And the cruise companies and the people on YouTube that talk about cruising don't seem to be... They make it a very rosy picture. Oh, yeah, cruising is going to happen in June again. And all this kind of stuff. And do you really want to be on a cruise ship? Because you're in a closed confines with, several thousand people. Talk about a disease bed right there. I mean, it's stuff like that. And then the ones who think, oh, yeah, I've had my shot. And they're all very happy about it. And we talked about this before last week, so we don't need to dwell on it because most people...
We all have been... all we ever hear on the news anymore is this stuff. So
yeah, and we're all COVID fatigued out of all of that.
So,
but anyway, so we're in lockdown again for a month, which basically means you can't get your hair cut because that's about the only thing that has changed out of it all. And for the people that live in Toronto, they haven't been able to.
And the restaurants are all closed down.
Yeah, well.
They don't, like in Toronto, the restaurant, you couldn't eat in a restaurant in Toronto anyway, but you could eat out on a patio. Now they closed all the patios, so I don't know.
They've closed the patios too, have they?
Yeah. I don't know that that's going to really make that much of a difference. So the only difference they have from what Toronto is the hairdressers were already shut down. They never
they never reopened.
And now they've just shut down the patios, and they've supposedly reduced the number of people that can be in a store at any one time. But the stores have to control that.
Yeah.
Right? And so far, from what we've seen, stores don't seem to do anything.
Well, Costco is huge. So if you're saying 50%, well, how do they figure out what 50% is? Do they go by, I got thinking about this the other day, do they look at their fire regulations that say, how many people can be in this space kind of a thing and divide that by half?
I don't know how they determine what the capacity is. So,
well, at Costco, apparently they don't care because they make you line up outside, but the line moves. It's not that you're standing in that line for very long.
And then some guy with a cart's walking around Costco with a little sign on the top of it that says, this is 6 meters or something.
No, 2 meters. This is 2 meters. There's an arrow on. And I don't know why
6 feet,
why he's walking around with a cart like that.
Yeah, I know. So it's really stupid.
If they've ever seen Priscilla, Queen of the Desert, the Australian movie that was out in the 90s, there's one scene in that movie. Well, it's a reoccurring scene. There's somebody doing a little marathon, pushing a cart, going across the outback of Australia. And everybody sort of stops when this little cart goes rolling by and there's a little red light on it. Well, that's what it reminds me of when I see this thing at Costco. I don't know. It's crazy. But what can you do? I mean, just stay home anyways. Don't be going to these places. So I don't know. Online shopping. Well, I enjoy online shopping. Teresa says, PSA, if you're ordering takeout from a mom and pop shop, order directly from them and pick up. Skip the dishes, etc. A huge percentage needs to shop with next time.
I've heard that from other areas. People have sent out messages about the percentages that these companies are taking. Yeah, if we've gotten takeout in the last while, we always order directly from the store.
Yeah, well, we usually pick. Well, yeah,
I usually go pick it up.
You go pick it up. Yeah, like pizza or Wendy's or McDonald's through the drive-through and pick it up there. But yeah, no, I wouldn't be paying their prices for that kind of thing. And yeah, ripping off the mom and pop shops too. Well, that's what the COVID thing's all about.
Of course, we know somebody that drives for them.
Oh yeah.
He wouldn't be too happy, I'd say that.
Well, probably not. But
well, mind you.
But then what's he get paid?
Yeah, I know. I asked him. I said, "Is it lucrative to do that?" And he sort of said, "Well, he makes a living from it, but he wouldn't say how much he was getting." So
I don't know. Well, I mean, I suppose people might tip too or something. Probably gets a certain percentage of whatever the charge is. Mm-hmm. But I mean, skip the dishes isn't letting them have all the money. They're a business. So I don't know. It just kind of browns you, that there's always those people out there that take a disaster or something like this and take advantage of other people for their own personal gain out of it all. But anyways, so what can we talk about now? What are we watching on TV? Well,
we finished Snowpiercer.
Oh yeah, we finished Snowpiercer. We really like that show. If you don't know what it is, Snowpiercer's on Netflix, and it's basically it's kind of a stupid premise. Yeah, stupid premise. For some reason, and we've never been told exactly what the reason is, but the Earth has gone into basically almost like another.
No, what happened was the Earth was getting really hot, right?
Yeah.
So the scientists shot up these rockets to cool the Earth down.
Oh,
right? Like global warming and to cool it down, but it backfired and it cooled the Earth too much. So everything froze.
Oh, when did they explain that?
At the first show.
Oh, I missed that. I don't know. That one right over my head.
Whatever. Sleeping through it.
Well, maybe. Yeah. So, anyways, they've had 2 seasons of it, and they are working on a 3rd. But it's actually a really good show if you haven't seen it. It's still on Netflix, so you can catch that. We finished The Stand. I think we told you that, and yeah, we talked about that last week. And I watched a movie the other day called Glass. It's very strange. I don't know what it's about, but it had some big names in it. It had
Oh yeah, it was played at the theater just before COVID, I think.
it's something to do. It's an origin story for superheroes or something. But there's these two characters. One is played by Bruce Willis, and he has sort of super strength, sort of. And then there's this villain character who I can't, I've seen this guy in other things and I don't know what his name is, but he's a psycho and he has all kinds of different personalities that come out. And one of them is the one called the Beast, they call it. And he's very violent and very, very strong. And he's got animal like characteristics of an animal. He doesn't look like an animal, but he can do things animals can do and stuff like that. And then Samuel Jackson is in it, and he plays this guy who's got was born with really brittle bones or something like that, but he's a mastermind. He's a genius, and he's trying to manipulate these two other characters to publicly fight and whatnot. But there's a secret organization that is trying to prevent people from realizing all humans have superhuman talents, but they don't know how to tap into them, and they don't want those people to know about it. So it's hard to explain. It's really a little weird. Well, it's also got what's her name? It was Nurse Ratched, and she's always in the American Horror Story ones. What's her name? Sandra? No. The red hair. She was Nurse Ratched in Ratched. You know exactly who I'm.
Oh, her. Yeah, I can't.
I can't think of her name. You'd know her if you saw her. She's in it too. So it's got some big names in it and everything. It's not a low budget film. So it's a little different. Now you're looking it up.
Yeah, I can't remember her name.
Well, anyways, it doesn't matter, but it's kind of entertaining. I just finished watching a short documentary on Jackie Onassis. And her sister.
Sarah Paulson.
That's it, Sarah Paulson. That's the name of the person. And I watched last week another documentary on Queen Elizabeth and her sister Margaret, their relationship. And that was kind of interesting as well. This one about Jackie O is only 50-some minutes long. And I didn't think it was all that great. We finished
Resident Alien.
Oh, yeah, we finished Resident Alien. I don't see Anita on here today. She's the one that told me about it. That is a funny show, Resident Alien, if you haven't seen it. Now, the only problem is...
It's on Sci-Fi TV in the U.S., and it's on the Science Network or the Space Network.
Space Network here. In ours. But we don't get either one of those. So I had to get it by other means. Never mind. But if you can see it, it is good. It's really funny. And it looks like it's going to have a second season as well. Yeah. So now, has The Handmaid's Tale started yet?
No, it's supposed to be coming. I don't know when. It's supposed to be coming this year sometime, because they were filming it, I guess, in the fall. But
Oh, what was this? Janice said, it's the same here. They say we are in lockdown, but the stores are packed. People are having parties with 100 people. It's a joke.
Yeah. I don't understand what this lockdown is if we're not actually locked down.
Well, the problem, too, is there's no consequences.
Well, not only that, they said we're in lockdown, but they don't have a stay-at-home order.
No.
So, like
Australia, one person gets it.
They lock down.
They lock it right down.
Than, whatever.
Well, I was going to say tighter than a fart, but in your case, that doesn't apply. But yeah. And what else have we been watching? Haven't been watching much. Of course, YouTube. Always looking for new things on YouTube. A guy who's really funny. We've started to
watched a couple of comedy shows on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And there's an English guy, right?
Joe Lycett.
Joe Lycett.
Lycett. That's laser surgery.
He is. We watched a show last night. There were a couple of spots we were pretty much crying.
Yeah, the funniest one was, and I won't be able
Big Sky.
to say it. That's a television show. He was saying that he had what was
He
it?
only eats stuff
Oh, yeah.
that falls from
He went on a new diet. He only eats things that fall from trees. He says, so the day he says, I've had 3 cooking. I'm gonna laugh talking about it. I've had 3 cooking
3 cooking apples.
and a small owl. But then he said originally he was going to say and a small child, but he thought that wouldn't have been politically correct. I don't know. It struck me as funny and just like that. But anyways,
He has a pretty wicked sense of humor.
yeah, he's quite a character. He likes to write these emails to people or to corporations and things and sort of play with them in their answers, and the stuff is very different. Anyways, it's good. Check it out if you want to laugh. Check that out. Another one that I really like, and they've been making a lot of money over because it's become their business over the pandemic, is the Holderness Family. You don't really like them, but I do. Well, they do a lot of music parodies. They're a family. They have a production company, I think, a small one or something like that. So they know what they're doing. Their videos are very professional that they make. And they get thousands upon thousands upon thousands of views for every one they put up. So, in fact, they've even written a book about married life, something about everybody fights or something like this. And they've been pushing that too. So they really are people who know how to turn a buck during the pandemic, and they're not really exploiting people by doing what they're doing. So, I don't have anything against them for doing it that way. Not like skip the dishes. That's just exploitation with that. But they're very amusing. Walter doesn't like them. I do. I think they're funny.
I put up with them, but
hi, Dana. You put up with them. Oh, well, as if they have to live up to your standards. I don't see them asking you about their production qualities. Big Sky, Teresa says, yeah, Big Sky, I've heard of it. I've never watched it. I'm not sure if we can get it anymore. It's sort of out on a ranch kind of a thing, isn't it? Or I don't know. Is it Canadian?
I think it's American.
Is it American? Oh, okay. Well, more than likely.
Might be in Canada. Seems like they film pretty much everything in Canada.
Call it something in the States.
Yeah, I know. Like Resident Alien was filmed out in Vancouver in a town called Ladysmith. And Ladysmith, I guess, has had a lot of production companies. That Sonic, that stupid.
Oh, yeah.
It was filmed out there too. So they film a lot of stuff up in Canada and Toronto and our area and in Vancouver because Montana. It's cheaper to do that.
Big Sky takes place in Montana. Okay. So it is sort of a westerny kind of theme kind of show, I guess. I've heard of it. I think it's got great reviews and everything like that. It's been on for a while, I think.
Like Handmaid's Tale's filmed in Canada.
Yeah. It's filmed in a place called Cambridge. Well, it's filmed in several spots, isn't it?
Yeah, it's filmed in Toronto, Cambridge area.
Yeah. With that. So
it's funny because we'll recognize an area. Like we were watching American Gods, and it was filmed in a little town called Port Perry, just north of us. About 25 minutes north of us. Like you're suddenly watching it and you go, wait a minute, that town looks familiar.
Yeah. I've seen that before. I've been there. Creepy serial killer trafficker. Oh, that's what Big Sky is. Oh, okay. Not what I was thinking. Female detectives. Oh, screw that. Just joking. No, I'm not. Yes, I am. No, I'm not. Yeah, so what else? Oh, there is a show. It's supposed to come on in April at some point. I read the series of books called Bone. Something and Bone.
Shadow and Bone.
That's it. Shadow and Bone. You didn't even read the book.
No, I know, but
books.
I know the name.
It's a fantasy kind of a thing, sort of in a different timeline and all that kind of stuff and that. But I kind of like the books. They were interesting. Now, speaking of books, What I'm started to read a new series. I've read the first book and I just got the second book, and it's by a guy called James Rowland. And he's been around for years. He writes all kinds of books called Map of Bones, and it's sort of a Laura Croft meets Indiana Jones meets what's something that's bloody and gory and everybody dies in it, kind of a thing. That kind of thing. You know, they're out looking for some kind of, well, in this one, they're out looking for the bones of the Magi, the three wise men, which are actually kept in a box in the church in Cologne. And we've been to that church. But according to this, they've been stolen, but they have some kind of power. There's some sort of mineral or something that is in this box, and it can make things. It's a great source of power and does all kinds of stuff. It's kind of hard to describe the whole thing. But, you know, everybody wants it, and everybody is shooting everybody else. It's a bit gory in the book because you get some details about things that are lobbed off of people in hideous ways and stuff like that. I kind of like that kind of book. It's an amusing time waster. And now I'm reading the second one in the series, called, what's it called? Blood Order. Same idea. If you like Da Vinci Code with a little bit more gore to it, you'd probably like these books. So I'm reading those right now. And what else? Well, what else happened this week? Did anything happen exciting this week? Bought some fabric. We're going to talk about. Going to talk about that on
my stuff.
Well, bought a new microphone system, which I'm going to try out for the first time tomorrow on my vlog. You know, when we do each of these different things we do on the channel, they each have a different setting and setup. This one, you saw the big, what'd you call the
R2D2.
The R2D2, rented lips. R2D2 microphone that we use for this setup. And I've told you about, I 3D printed a hook thing to hold our camera in the middle of the big screen here. Well, I use my iPad to do my vlogs, and I use a different microphone that plugs into it. Well, lately I've been having trouble with that microphone, although I discovered that I had fuzz in my hole. Let me rephrase that. I had fuzz in the hole of my iPad and my iPhone, and that was interfering with it. But I bought a wireless microphone. Not really an expensive one. It cost me about $50 on Amazon, so it's made in China. But then everything's made in China, so it doesn't matter. And I've tried it out so far, tested it, and it seems to work okay. So tomorrow I'm going to be using it for that. And I'll probably use it when I do my Idiot Quilter episode. But the Idiot Quilter I do on my iPhone with a ring light. And now we're doing the So Chatty. And we do that through a closed Zoom. I use Zoom to record it. And it doesn't go out to the public in that way, but you can record on Zoom, and then I use it for that. I've got all these different systems because I have different areas that we do each one of these things in. It's kind of confusing. Need a studio.
Mm-hmm.
Let's put an addition on the house.
Yeah.
Put a huge addition. We don't use the backyard anyway, so we put a huge addition on the back of the house. We can put in a sewing studio. We can put in a broadcasting studio. Just wonderful, like no problem. And yeah, sure. We'd only need $100,000 so for that. Yeah. Neighbors would like that. They wouldn't have to look at our ugly backyard anymore. So yeah, I don't know. We don't have a hell of a lot going on these days. Today's just like a slow day. So, yeah, pretty much. This is going to be a short one, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unless any of you people have something. Like, we're all ears, but we're running out of ideas here.
Should have a bigger topic. We don't really want to talk about COVID.
Yeah, so that's we're trying to keep away from that.
You can only talk so much about that.
Yeah, it's just the same old, same old.
I mean, everybody's area is a little different in what they're doing, but yeah. So I guess
Yeah, I think we're going to
that's it.
sign off.
I mean, it's Easter. Maybe you won't.
Yeah,
you
maybe-
guys need to do something.
Eat the bunny
other
or
than watch
something.
us.
Or dip the bunny in chocolate and then eat it. I don't know, whatever. We've got a lot of bunnies in the backyard. We just pick them up by the ears, in the chocolate you go. Yum, yum.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's time to go.
Yeah.
So, you may be happy that this one's a short one. You may be sad. You can lie to us. So, just a recap. Vlog tomorrow. Idiot Quilter Tuesday. End of the week. So chatty. And Craft and Chat Wednesday. Okay, so if you want to have a little fun with some other people, go to the Craft and Chat. So I think that's it for this week.
Stay safe.
Have a good
Stay
Easter.
happy
What's left of it?
And good Easter.
Yeah, have a good Easter, and stay safe, as Walter said. Don't be congregating. Okay, we're not out of this yet. Okay, see you next week.
Yeah.
Bye for now.
Bye.